You already had someone say that this guy's batshit crazy. Now we're gonna let him plead guilty and send him to jail for multiple decades? Come on now. Come on, really?
But here's the deal. 12 years ago, a little over 12 years ago now, the state of Florida declared me incompetent. And they took away all of my rights. I can't contract, buy bread, get married, make medical decisions. They sent me up to Harvard's mental health hospital at McLean. And while I was there, the United States indicted me for tax crimes. And I ultimately get sentenced to 22 and a half years in prison without ever having my rights restored, and while having an attorney who stood to lose multiple millions of dollars if I didn't plead guilty.
When I first came down here, I was really just kind of interested to see how his mental illness was treated in prison and how it affected him. And what I came to uncover was a whole lot more. Do you believe he would ever knowingly commit any sort of crime?
No, I don't.
No, he was not that type of person.
My 32 years of law enforcement, I would never ever believe that Frank would commit a crime.
Listen, you know, health issues, mental health issues, doesn't mean he's any less of a person. It just means that, you know, he thinks a different way. He was so poorly advised at the time. I believe that he was so overly medicated. There's no way in hell, if he would have been clear of mind, that he would have ever signed a deal. For 22 years? Who pleads guilty to that and knowing you're going to get 22 years in prison? Nobody. Nobody.
So I was in prison with them, 9 years? When you're incarcerated and somebody like Frank comes along that gives you hope, gives you reason, to believe certain things are going to happen.
When you're in prison, you grasp onto any ounce of hope that there is.
Even though I had a team of attorneys on the outside, you know, when you have someone there with you, understanding your case, you know, it's a way to cope.
I was the prison lawyer. I mean, I had an office. I had an office in the unit that is a sign both of staff respect, because they allowed me to have this quasi-office, and a sign of inmate respect, because nobody would come in that room. It was treated as my office. People would stand in line outside the door up to the guard station waiting to come in for an appointment and have a discussion.
Frank had his own little office.
He was given one of these rooms, and it was Frank's office. And so there would be an officer on duty every night, all day. There was an officer in a unit. So people would come in and they would say to the officer, I have an appointment with Frank.
He worked out of what they called a rec room. And they kind of gave him a little corner, and he had his own little system, and everything was in paper. There was no computers. And the things he needed to file were done on a typewriter, literally a typewriter.
It didn't make any difference what you were, how much money he had, and how much Frank listened to you. If they had an issue, they went to Frank.
And there wasn't a race, so there was no racism with Frank. There's no color with Frank, and he helped everybody. So that was a problem in the beginning, because the white guys were like, why are you helping the black guys? And the black guys, why are you helping the white guys? And so I think Frank is like an honorary member of like 4 gangs.
On one occasion, the Vice Lords and the Gangster Disciples, they do not like each other. All right, there are 2 black gangs, and they do not like each other. And a couple of their leaders came to me and said, hey, we have a dispute, and we'd like you to resolve it. We'll make you honorary member of both gangs so that you can resolve this dispute. And then, Frank, there won't be any violence.
after experiencing so many different aspects of the justice system, do you feel that there is true due process?
No, there isn't.
I was so afraid that Frank was going to serve all his time, you know, and he didn't deserve that. But I always thought that you were innocent until proven guilty. But that's a bunch of hogwash.
They went off the rails as soon as they let him sign, and a federal judge, that just tells you, not all federal judges are created equal, and some of them are straight up morons.
What changes in the judicial system would you like to see?
I want people to stop using terms like rule of law, constitution, unless you're actually going to use rule of law and constitution.